Far behind, I was right with him.
You weren't side by side.
But I was right behind with him. He moved to the inside line, going towards the first corner. I just chased him then, and he opened the gap. And knowing me, like he does know, he must realize that if there was a gap, I was going to try to overtake him. And under those circumstances, he should never have opened a gap in the first corner and then come back again. Because by doing so, he opened the gap, gave the gap, and then closed it. And in that circumstance, there was no way to avoid an incident.
Right, but that only happened, Ayrton, because you saw the gap, and I accept that, you're a racer. But a mature racer has to also think, if he closes the door again, we're going to have an accident. And in fact, that was a high-speed entry, so it could have been a very serious accident.
Absolutely.
So wouldn't it not have been more prudent under those circumstances to have at least seen that the gap was potentially going to close?
Not at all. He was in a position where he could never, under no circumstance, put his car anywhere near mine in a difficult position. Because if we happen just to touch, and have a wing damage or a wheel flat tire, he had everything to lose. And under those circumstances, my understanding was that he would never move against me in the first corner. And I was very surprised when I found myself with him moving the car over mine.
So in that case, you were calculating that he would give way, that he would let you through?
Of course, he would not close the way he did. From the moment he made the initial room, he would not come back and close the door again.
A calculated risk?
Of course.
Okay. Let me ask you another difficult question. If I were to count back all the world champions, and after all this is the 500th Grand Prix, that if you totaled up all of those great champions, the number of times they had made contact with other drivers, that you in the last 36 months or 48 months have been in contact with more other cars and drivers than they might have done in total.
I find amazing for you to make such a question, Stewart, because you are very experienced and you know a lot about racing. And you should know that by being a racing driver, you are under risk all the time. And by being a racing driver means you are racing with other people. And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver, because we are competing. We are competing to win. And the main motivation to all of us is to compete for a victory. It's not to come third, fourth, fifth, or sixth.
But hasn't that always been the case?
Sorry?
Hasn't that always been the case of all the great champions?
Absolutely. And if you go back in history, then you talk about incidents and so on, you'll find that I've been myself leading most of the races and finding back markers in front of me. And I was never involved in leading races and with other people. There were 3, 4 events only when I was leading a race in first corner and so on, like many other people have been involved in.
I have to believe, though, Ayrton, that there must be some fault, and I respect totally your ability. You're the fastest Grand Prix driver in the world. I respect that. But I have to speculate that it can't all be right, that you have this many collisions, if you like, whether it be with back markers or whether it be with lead changes. It just happens too often. Don't you question yourself?
I think it's all irrelevant. All what you're saying, Jack, is really irrelevant, because I'm a driver that won more races than anybody over the past 3 years. I'm a driver that has been on pole position more than anybody in history. And I'm a driver that won 2 titles in the past 3 years. And I don't think I cannot comprehend how you can try to turn things around to say that I've been involved in more accidents than anybody, because that is not true as well.
No,
I don't really understand the point.
No, I'm sorry, I don't agree with that.
Then you should go back. You should go back 10 years from the date of today and look not only the leaders. You should look the middle field and the back field drivers.
I speak of the champions.
And find by yourself that perhaps what you're saying is not quite right.
Well, I would be happy to go back with you and go through the Fangios and the Clarks and the Lauders and the Fittipaldis.
You only have to go back 10 years, the modern Formula One. That's what we are talking about.
So you feel totally comfortable that the technique of driving that you use has not in any way developed into a situation where the gap opens up and it's taken spontaneously. Because you do go for gaps, and we all have
When
done
there
it
is
in
a
our career.
gap, when there is a gap, it's designed for being in a competition at a very high level, with cars going so close that as they go today, with the same horsepower, with the same level of grip, with the same load aerodynamic. You all know, with the different circuits where it's very difficult for overtaking because the circuits are designed not in appropriate manner for overtaking maneuvers, you either commit yourself as a professional racing driver that is designed to win races, or you come second, or you come third, or you come fifth. And I'm not designed to come third, fourth, or fifth. I race to win, as long as I feel it's possible. Sometimes you get it wrong, sure. It's impossible to get it right all the time. But I race designed to win, and as long as I feel I'm doing it right. Some people agree, some don't. In the end, I'm the one who is doing. I'm the one who is driving. And I can only do what speaks from my mind.